Tampa Bay Now News at 10 is brought to you by the law offices of Catania and Catania.
I still believe we'll be able to avoid a default and we'll get something decent done.
Now, the most important stories from across the country and here at home. A deeper dive into the biggest stories impacting you and your family.
We really have to start protecting our eyes to protect our hearts.
Your wallet and your money.
Credit card interest rates are crazy high.
Plus stories of hope and resilience.
Just to see them both on and off the field, it's inspiring.
I'm Trayson Bragg. Your news starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Ken McLeod with you on this Saturday night. Researchers at USF will now take the lead in tracking what has become a major problem in Florida and around the nation. We're talking about human trafficking. And reporter Leali Shalaby explains what the school will be doing.
With the University of South Florida ranked as 15th top university in research, they continue to make strides by now having the governor sign off on one of their labs being the central database for human trafficking in the state.
So our big, lofty goal is now that we have the bill with the unified database, once that data is in and once Bright is built and that data, we can then merge all of that data together.
Professor Shelley Wagers, who helps assist the TIP lab, speaks on the importance of how this new law will help advance the research being done.
And what it does is it mandates all the different government organizations to send us all of their data regarding human trafficking.
With law enforcement fighting in the dark to help end human trafficking, this new data will make a major impact.
We're going to end it by better understanding it, what's driving it, what's allowing it, and addressing and creating policies and programs to get at those root causes.
This is the first database of its kind, especially relating to human trafficking.
So that's what that law is doing for us. It's sending all of it to USF. We can compile that, and then we will be providing a report back to the state on the prevalence of the human trafficking, which groups are being affected, where in the state and how, and hopefully starting to track and see what happens that then can be used by law enforcement, policymakers, and other individuals to combat human trafficking in the state.
The streamlining effort of this initiative is for everyone to be connected with the same resources and data to combat human trafficking as an entire unit rather than individually. In Tampa, Leali Shalaby reporting for Tampa Bay Now News.
A man who slammed into a parked construction crane, killing his female passenger, has been charged with drunk driving and vehicular homicide. Clearwater police say 42-year-old Bryant Mendoza was driving in lanes that had been coned off along US 19 in Dunedin when the accident happened on Thursday night. Police say his 37-year-old passenger was taken to the hospital where she died. Just an hour earlier, Mendoza had been cited for careless driving only a half-mile away. Again, he's been charged with DUI manslaughter and vehicular homicide, and police are investigating whether the first officer to stop Mendoza should have recognized he was drunk. The state of Florida's unemployment rate was unchanged in April, and there's both good and bad news in those numbers. It's at 2.6% for the third straight month, which is below the national average. New jobs continue to grow in professional services, education, health, and hospitality, but roughly 281,000 Floridians are now out of work, mostly due to slumping demand for new homes.
The trend that we're seeing in the construction sector is the fourth consecutive month of job losses there. That's really being driven by movement in the residential construction sector specifically. That has a lot to do with things like rising mortgage rates. That affects demand for new housing, specifically for new residential construction.
Governor Ron DeSantis, however, is crediting his economic policy for keeping the state's unemployment numbers low. The national average in April was 3%. Well, when you think about Orlando, theme parks often come to mind. Many have been successful for decades, but not all of them make it. Such was the case for the Holy Land Experience, which, as reporter Michelle Meredith tells us, is now being torn down.
As claws tear at the last of the Roman Colosseum, one of the most iconic landmarks of Holy Land, it marks the end of an era, the end of Orlando's controversial religious theme park.
Lazarus, come forth!
The The Holy Land Experience opened in 2002 and told the story of Jesus through the eyes of Christianity. And though it was revered by many, it was also mocked. The gift shop sold Holy Land fanny packs. Using bean bags, guests could hit the devil with their best shot.
Whenever you're going up and down I-4, you see Holy Land as you pass it, that giant Coliseum.
But hey, here we are.
Vincent Rodriguez lives in Orlando and
kind of interesting.
Out of curiosity, bought a ticket. His Holy Land experience lives on through YouTube.
It was a pretty interesting experience, and then there was a lot to see and do. Definitely, I could understand maybe why I had been here in Orlando for so long.
But eventually, no longer able to make a profit, the gates closed. The buildings seemed frozen in time until they started coming down. So why couldn't the religious theme park make it in the motherland of theme parks?
You have to be successful 365 days a year.
Theme park expert Abe Pazam says in many ways, it just didn't fit in.
It's not compatible with Disney, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, or any of the other main attractions.
Perhaps the theme park in the wrong city whose time came to an end.
All right, let's go ahead and talk weather now. Meteorologist Sarah Robleski is here. She's got a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're going to be watching as conditions start to calm down as we go through the overnight hours, clearing clouds. In fact, a little warm, humid too. Temperatures will stay back into the 70s. Taking a look at the forecast lows, we'll go upper 60s to the north, lower 70s along the immediate coast, mid 70s for the southeast coast. Very similar setup for tomorrow. Once again, we'll be watching the local sea breezes, and the chance of some showers and storms will develop as we get into the afternoon and into the evening hours. About 20 to 30% chance along the coast, and then it looks to increase as we get through the interior. Dying down, and then again on Monday, unsettled pattern as we go on through the week. One thing we'll be noticing too for your day tomorrow, it's going to be another really warm one. Temperatures climbing up into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Again, noticing the chance of those showers increasing as we get into the afternoon and early evening time frame. But as we have the risk of these showers for your Sunday and Monday, as well as Tuesday, what we'll be watching for is a change in temperatures. In fact, as we get towards the later part of the week, a little bit cooler. We'll take a closer look at that coming up in the full forecast just ahead.
President Joe Biden and other world leaders unveiled tough new sanctions on Russia at the G7 summit in Japan. They are preparing to hear from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky tomorrow. President Biden and other allies are pledging to support Ukraine for as long as it takes. Shelley Malashi has the very latest. Thanks, Shelley. Now, as she mentioned, critical debt ceiling talks between the White House and GOP leaders are hitting a roadblock with just 2 weeks left to avoid a possible economic disaster. Melissa Rainey shows us why economists are worried about the lack of concern. Thanks, Melissa. A semi-truck driver in Oregon was arrested after slamming into a van on a freeway, killing 7 people and injuring 4 others. Police say it was one of the state's deadliest crashes in years. 52-year-old Lincoln Clayton Smith was charged on suspicion of manslaughter, DUI, and other charges. His next court date is scheduled for the end of the month. All right, next on Now, the impact videos of police brutality may have on those that view them.
I think it's a double-edged sword. If you see it every day, it kind of desensitizes you to it.
What experts say you can do to protect both your mental and physical health. That's next.
How far would you go to save her?
We are going to get through this as a family.
Superman and Lois, new episode Tuesday at 8/7 Central.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I found out sometimes protecting your mental health means stepping away from the social sites and algorithms, especially when acts of police brutality are making the rounds on social media. Dr. Metzger says it really comes down to putting your mental health first. All right, later in the show, finding ways to help cope with mental health crises.
I'm man enough to say I got some issues, look.
We'll introduce you to a Texas musician who's helping others when times get tough. His story of healing coming up.
And air quality alerts continue out west. I'll talk more about where the smoke is coming from and how long it will last for. That's coming up.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by West Shore Home. Baths, windows, and doors for your home.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Sarah Robleski. A hot one today as temperatures climbed into the 90s, a couple degrees shy of the record, and warmer than average as well. Of course, that heat and humidity combined with an upper level trough created some scattered showers and storms, especially through the interior, and expecting the risk to decrease as we go through the overnight hours, clearing skies. We're going to still stay very mild, though, as temperatures will only fall back into the lower 70s. It'll feel a little muggy as you get out the door tomorrow, perhaps upper 60s to the north, mid 70s across the southeast coast. Now, very similar setup for tomorrow. We'll be watching as the clouds will begin to build as we go through the late morning, midday hours. And then anytime after lunch, expect the chance of a pop-up shower or storm. So you want to have that umbrella handy. Keep an eye to the sky for those threatening clouds. Also, a better chance as we go through the interior, but we could even see the chance along the coast as well. Noticing temperatures once again upper 80s to nearly 90 degrees. It's going to be another hot and very humid day out there. As we take a closer look at Futurecast, you'll notice as we start off dry, by the afternoon and evening, a few scattered showers and storms may develop, bringing locally heavy downpours as well as perhaps some gusty winds. So as we head into Monday, several showers and storms likely to develop again, especially where those sea breezes sort of develop along. Be watching that closely. And as for your Tuesday, more showers out there as well. So we've got a very unsettled pattern as we go through the week. We're looking at the chances of showers and storms pretty much each and every day. As for temperatures, we're going to hold on to the heat for the beginning part of the week. But as we get towards Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to start to notice temperatures a little bit cooler and perhaps even some cooler air heading our way as we look at the next 6 to 10 days. So your 7-day forecast, overnight lows in the 60s and 70s, highs falling through the 80s with a chance of showers and storms.
They know all of your secrets. You kissed my mom. But they love you anyway. Friends.
Weeknights at 5:30 on CW44.
Right now, firefighters in Alberta, Canada are battling dozens of wildfires. About 10,000 people have been unable to return home due to the fires. And listen to this. Last week alone, wildfires burned more than 150 times more acres than all of the fires the province has seen in the last 5 years. Smoke from those wildfires are now causing air quality concerns for several states here in the U.S. Meteorologist Michael Altavino joins me now. Michael, how long can this last?
Well, Trace, and some of these air quality alerts continue until Monday, but I still think that we can see the smoke linger as we move throughout the week. So what's going on? Why are we seeing this wildfire smoke in the Pacific Northwest and even into the Midwest? We have high pressure to the south of Canada. We see clockwise winds around the area of high pressure. So that in combination with the jet stream is bringing in this wildfire smoke from Canada. Over 80 active wildfires are occurring right now into Canada. So we have these air quality alerts for portions of Idaho, Montana, even into Colorado. So these air quality alerts continue into tomorrow as well as into Monday. So we'll see reduced air quality in these areas. You want to limit your time outdoors, especially for those with pre-existing medical conditions. Now, there is some relief in sight, at least for the Pacific Northwest. We have a cold front, an area of low pressure off the coast. This will move onshore, and this will help to bring a relief for the air quality as well as some of the wildfire smoke in the Pacific Northwest, but it will also bring the threat for severe weather into tomorrow across northern Idaho as well as into Oregon, Washington, even into portions of Montana. Again, level 2 risk for portions of those areas, and we will continue to see the threat for damaging winds as well as some hail with some of those storms. So notice as we look ahead into tomorrow, we see the wildfire smoke gradually thin out for some locations, making its way further east. You can see that cold front as it moves onshore will bring a little relief to the Pacific Northwest. So again, we'll still continue to see at least some smoke into the sky to begin the new work week, Trayson.
All right, well, very important information there. Thanks so much, Michael. All right, Brittany Griner returned to the WNBA hardwood Friday night. Still to come, it's almost summertime, which means more and more people are ready to hit the road. What you can expect both on the road and in the skies this summer season.
Tampa Bay now, tonight at 10 on CW44.
Summer travel season is ready for takeoff.
I'm excited but wary about the method of travel.
Paving a new way for flu protection.
It would give us a vaccine that targets all flu strains.
Finding solace through song.
I'm a conqueror of depression.
And fighting to cross that white chalked line.
Just to see them both on and off the field, it's inspiring, it's motivational for the rest of the guys.
It may soon get cheaper to fly from Boston and New York City. A federal judge ordered American Airlines and JetBlue to end their collaboration at major cities in the Northeast. And that's expected to lead to more competition, which could mean more flights and cheaper prices. Neither airline has commented on the ruling or announced whether they plan to appeal the decision. They have 30 days to comply. And if you need a passport, now is the time to apply or renew. A surge in demand is causing major delays at processing centers. Right now, a standard passport renewal could take up to 13 weeks. Even the expedited service is taking up to 9 weeks. The U.S. State Department issued a record high of nearly 22 million passports last year. This comes as U.S. air travel hit a new pandemic-era record this week. The TSA says it screened more than 2.6 million people at airports nationwide. That's a 10% increase over the same day last year and tops the previous pandemic mark set last year on the Sunday after Thanksgiving. The record sets the stage for what is expected to be a very busy Memorial Day weekend travel period. AAA estimates we will see one of the busiest travel days since 2005 as Americans try to get out of town and kick off that summer the right way. More than 42 million people are expected to hit the roads or take to the skies for the holiday weekend. Our Tom Hansen has a closer look. All right, thanks so much, Tom. And as millions hit the roads, gas prices are remaining the same, at least for now. The national average for a gallon of gas is about $3.54. That's been the case for about 2 weeks. A month ago, prices were $3.68 per gallon. And this time last year, they were a whopping $4.59 per gallon. I know none of us missed that. All right, those are some of the top stories from around the country tonight. Now, some of the moments that matter most in your community. As we mentioned earlier, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and one way we can cope with stress is through music. A professor found listening to a certain kind of music can relieve anxiety, and a Texas rapper is showing how he processes his depression by creating a music message. A very powerful story there. Young people often play music on their phones, which is why the professor says music therapy can help them wherever they are. All right, if you need help, you can text HOME to 741-741. The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is also available by calling 988. It allows you to text counselors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll be right back.
Tampa Bay Now News at 10 is brought to you by the law offices of Catania and Catania.
To your health now, there's new progress being made towards a universal flu vaccine. Early stage clinical trials are being planned. Mandy Gaither has more on how it could impact future flu seasons. Mandy, thank you. Target is recalling almost 5 million candles from its Threshold brand. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says it has received over 100 reports of the jars that hold the candles breaking or cracking when the candle is lit, which can lead to cuts and burns. The candles can be returned to Target or mailed in for a refund. To your money now, a new report from the Federal Reserve Bank shows Americans are carrying a record amount of debt. Credit card debt remains at a record $986 billion, and most Americans are paying high interest on that borrowed money. Experts say the average rate is about 21%, and the average balance is nearly $7,300. If you're making only the minimum monthly payments, that would take almost 5 years to pay off, but there are some ways to save.
Another thing that people don't necessarily know that they can do is just call the credit card issuer and ask them to lower your rate.
A survey found 76% of people who asked for a lower interest rate on one of their credit cards got it. It's also good to create a budget and pay more on credit card payments when you can. All right, a soccer team in Iowa rallying support for their goalie.
Just to see them both on and off the field, it's inspiring, it's motivational for the rest of the guys.
Coming up, the goalie's dream as he kicks cancer to the curb.
Tampa Bay Now News at 10 is brought to you by the law offices of Catania and Catania.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Sarah Robleski. A hot one today as temperatures climbed into the 90s, a couple degrees shy of the record, and warmer than average as well. Of course, that heat and humidity combined with an upper level trough created some scattered showers and storms, especially through the interior, and expecting the risk to decrease as we go through the overnight hours, clearing skies. We're going to still stay very mild, though, as temperatures will only fall back into the lower 70s. It'll feel a little muggy as you get out the door tomorrow, perhaps upper 60s to the north, mid 70s across the southeast coast. Now, very similar setup for tomorrow. We'll be watching as the clouds will begin to build as we go through the late morning, midday hours, and then anytime after lunch, expect the chance of a pop-up shower or storm. So you want to have that umbrella handy. Keep an eye to the sky for those threatening clouds. Also, a better chance as we go through the interior, but we could even see the chance along the coast as well. Noticing temperatures once again upper 80s to nearly 90 degrees. It's going to be another hot and very humid day out there. As we take a closer look at Futurecast, you'll notice as we start off dry, by the afternoon and evening, a few scattered showers and storms may develop, bringing locally heavy downpours as well as perhaps some gusty winds. So as we head into Monday, several showers and storms likely to develop again, especially where those sea breezes sort of develop along our coast. So we'll be watching that closely. And as for your Tuesday, more showers out there as well. So we've got a very unsettled pattern as we go through the week. We're looking at the chances of showers and storms pretty much each and every day. As for temperatures, we're going to hold on to the heat for the beginning part of the week, but as we get towards Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to start to notice temperatures a little bit cooler and perhaps even some cooler air heading our way as we look at the next 6 to 10 days. So your 7-day forecast, overnight lows in the 60s and 70s, highs falling through the 80s with a chance of showers and storms.
Finally tonight, some hope now. A high school soccer team in Iowa is rallying behind their goalie, who is kicking cancer to the curb while getting his team to the state championship. Here's Shannon Earhart. Cole, we are absolutely rooting for both you and your teammates. All right, thank you all so much for watching tonight. We can't wait to see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful night and stay safe.